Welcome everybody to Hancock Park's virtual experiences. This is our discovery stories, and today we are going to be learning about cottontail rabbits. I'm sure many of you outside have had a chance to see maybe rabbits hopping around, or if you're lucky, find a rabbit nest, and even sometimes we find rabbit tracks out in the mud. So let's go ahead and read a story called Cottontail at Clover Crescent. It's a warm spring afternoon. The breeze is sweet with flowers. Cottontail Rabbit sniffs the scented air behind the greenhouse on Clover Crescent. She gives birth to 5 bunnies in a nest in the lawn. It is her second litter this spring, and there will be more. They do not look like rabbits. These squirming red creatures, these bald bunnies cannot hear or see. Their ears are smushed flat, and their eyes are squinched shut. Before they were born, Cottontail gathered dry grass and pulled the fur from her own tummy to line her nest. It keeps them warm. See them right there? Cottontail conceals the bunnies with a blanket of leaves and hops away. While the sun shines, she rests in a shallow in a nearby thicket. As night settles in on the neighborhood, Cottontail plucks prickly lettuce, timothy, and clover. She nibbles her way under the red wheelbarrow and across the lawn to the raspberry patch. Later, she'll return to feed the bunnies under the cover of darkness. So Cottontail doesn't stay with the babies. She just feeds them and then goes off to eat. The moon rises just to the right of the chimney. A light in an upstairs bedroom clicks off. Only the moon lights the yard. In a scramble of branches beside the raspberry patch, Cottontail licks her front paws. She drags her wet paws down over her face, and then she licks them again and drags them over her left ear, a long, soft ear that hears even the wind on one leaf. That's one thing rabbits are known for, is their big ears, and they use their sense of hearing to watch out for danger. While she cleans, she listens. A whippoorwill's whistle bursts through the air. She hears a baby opossum sneeze. A skunk snuffles through the ground, dining on grubs. Cottontail's ears swivel, alert to each rustle. She ignores the wind in the leaves. She turns one ear at the sound of deer grazing beneath the trees. But at the beat of a wing, she freezes. The fur on the back of her neck bristles. So she hears something. And the amazing thing about rabbits is they can actually turn their ears independently of each other. So one can turn one way and one can turn the other way so that they can hear. I wonder what that wing was. There are predators out at night. She fears the rush of a wing and the strike of a talon. She scours the sky and spies a crow roosting high in the branches. She turns her head and loses sight of him. Unless he stirs again, she won't see him again among the dark branches. Her large eyes continue to search in the darkness. Leaves rustle high in the maple. Cottontail nibbles dandelions in the grass. The wind brushes the grasses, bending them in the dark waves. A shadow sweeps across the lawn. Cottontail needs to be careful. There's a lot of predators out there. Cottontail freezes. A blade of grass balances on her tongue. She feels the rush of the wings. Watch out, Cottontail. Remember we learned about owls before? We know that owls are predators. They're birds of prey. Be careful. A barred owl plunges to the grass. It strikes a vole a few feet from Cottontail, and the vole is gone. That was a close one. When the air stills, Cottontail twitches her nose. Slowly she finishes chewing the blade of grass. She sniffs the yard. The bunnies will be hungry again. When she's certain she is safe again, she returns back to her nest. Cottontail uncovers the bunnies. They stir and stretch. She crouches above them. They scramble over each other, their tiny mouths puckering. They reach to drink their mother's sweet milk. The smallest bunny, scrunched on the bottom, struggles the hardest to get to the nourishment. There. Rabbits are mammals, and baby mammals drink milk. So mom has to come back to the nest to feed them. The bunnies finish their suckling. Their bellies now bulge and they're full. Their mouths are wet and milky. Drowsy and full, a nest of sleepy bunnies. Cottontail covers them once more and hops away through the grass. Now, I hope you enjoyed our story about Cottontail rabbits. Now, one thing that we learned about the rabbits is that rabbits make a nest on the ground. So we know that birds make nests in the trees, but rabbits make a nest on the ground. They use dried leaves and then their own fur to line it. They'll have the babies, and the babies stay in that nest for about 3 weeks. After 3 weeks, then they're ready to be off on their own and ready to hop away. Now, during that time when the babies are in the nest, however, Mother Rabbit doesn't sit with them. You know that birds oftentimes sit on their eggs and they'll sit on the babies to keep them warm. The mother doesn't do that. She leaves them there and to keep them safe. She doesn't want predators to find her nest. She only comes back to feed them, and then she wanders off away. So if you see a rabbit in your yard, it's very possible that it has a nest nearby and it's waiting until it's safe to go feed those babies. Now, rabbits we know are mammals, but they are herbivores. So let me get my skull here. So this here would be what is a rabbit skull. This is a replica of a rabbit skull. Now, you'll notice with this skull right here, you can see these front teeth, these front incisors. Okay? So these front teeth right here are used for nibbling that grass. Now these front ones right here, they continue to grow, so they don't wear away. So they have to continue to nibble things to wear their teeth down. They also have their back teeth, their molars here. Their molars are flat for grinding up all of that grass and that plants that they eat. Now let's compare that skull with one of the rabbit's predators, and that would be this one here. Okay? Notice the difference on this skull. We've learned a little bit about our different teeth here. This is a predator. This is a fox skull. See the size difference right here? Okay. So the fox is a predator. It is a carnivore. It has incisors too, much smaller. But what you see on our carnivore that our herbivore did not have are these canine teeth. And then if we look back over here at the molars are sharp like scissors. Okay? So carnivores we know eat meat, and herbivores we know eat plants. Okay? Now we also said that our rabbit is a mammal. So mammals, of course, have fur. This is a rabbit fur. Now with our cottontail rabbit, one of the parts that you will notice with our rabbit is its cottontail. It has a white tail on it. It has a white tail on it, and you will notice it hopping around in the yard. So if you have a chance and you're outside and you ever see a little rabbit out there, make sure and be very quiet and just watch the rabbit. You don't want to scare the rabbit because it is out there. There's a lot of things that like to eat rabbits. You saw in the book the owl. You saw over here I showed the skull of the fox. So it is waiting very careful and very quiet. And if you're really quiet, you might be able to watch it go back to where its nest is. And if you see the nest of the babies, don't disturb them. Just know that they are in there, and then within 3 weeks, they will be gone off to be grown-up rabbits on their own. So I hope you enjoyed our story today. This was our story about cottontail rabbits. On Wednesday, we're going to have Way Back Wednesday, so join us again at 1 o'clock then. Bye, everybody.